Your Seattle Mariners are currently 3 games above the Astros for the lead in the AL West. They are right within striking distance of clinching the AL West for the first time since 2001 at a bare minimum. They're a shoe into the playoffs if a couple things happen tomorrow. We're going to get into all of this and more. I'm joined by Gavin and Chad from the Up West Sports podcast. So make sure to check out their stuff. And just a quick plug before we get into it, make sure to check out Baseballism to gear up for all things Mariners. You can check out baseballism.com. Use code CouchGM-15 for your Mariners gear. They got tons of cool Griffey gear and other sorts. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or refinance on the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, or Arizona, make sure to reach out to myself, Connor Webb. I'm a mortgage lender when I'm not making these sports videos. I'll have a link in the description of this video to reach out and connect. And again, go check out Up West Sports. We got Gavin and Chad here to talk all things Seattle Mariners today. They're also making Washington State University content if you're into that too. So first off, guys, how we doing?
Oh
Much
man,
better than the last time we talked.
gosh, we put ourselves in a position to have a winning baseball team really from right when the deadline hit, making all those acquisitions to like you see the team finally in baseball, you hit your waves of highs and lows, but you feel that we're hitting it at the right time or high. All the pieces really coming together. So you just got to be excited for it as a Mariners fan. We've waited long enough.
Yeah, and I'll also, we've gone back and forth, and I believe even the last time that we talked is there was a lot of things that they could have addressed in the offseason that would have helped prepare them for the first half of this season and maybe set them up for success a little bit better. However, they finally did what they were supposed to do. They went into the trade deadline. They got the guys in that we really needed, and we found just an absolute monster of a hitter in Seattle. And so now the next question, well, maybe not the very next question, but one of the next questions is, what does Naylor look like long term here? Because that guy, you can't stop him from hitting in Seattle. The current landscape and the pitching kind of coming together at the right time, the guys getting hot at the right time. Yeah, you knock on wood, but this is a team that we wanted to see for years. And for us that grew up in 2001 and remember that year, this is a special team right now that we're looking at.
And we talked about it on our last episode. What would it take to lock down Josh Naylor for the long term? I think that's obviously the priority. He's even drag bunting down to third base when the shift is right. He's stealing bags. He's a 2020 first baseman. You have Cal Raleigh, who just is at 58 home runs, who has set records for the most home runs in a single season by a Mariner, beating Ken Griffey Jr., by a switch hitter, by a catcher. There's across the board. You got Brian Wu, who's ace level material. Fingers crossed that it was just like, he hit the bench press before that last start and he had some tightness in his right pec. But this team is built for the playoffs, and excited to get into it a bit more. Just looking at this series against Houston, this was a purely dominant series against the Astros, a team that obviously has been your biggest rival for a while. An interesting stat that I didn't realize is that the Mariners the past 3 seasons have actually won the season series against the Astros. In 23, they were 9-4 against the Astros. 24, they were 8-5, and then this year, 8-5. So once again, they have beat out the Astros, and now 6 games remaining. You just have 3 against the Rockies, 3 against the Dodgers at home. It's right there. What are you guys' thoughts on this series against the Astros?
Gavin, I'll let you take that.
Fired up. You go into enemy territory, and obviously we've been pretty bad on the road as of late, and I think for the year, I think their numbers on the road have not been the greatest. So you go into enemy territory, and you're tied with them, and you take all 3. Now, granted, they're a little bit gutted, but we've also been gutted when we've played them before in the past. This year, I believe we played them without Bryce Miller. We played them without Logan Gilbert for a series. So going in there, getting the 3 games that you need, man, you're on top. You're on top of the world right now. You're on top of the world, and you got the Colorado Rockies, which I'll say a little bit. This is the one that kind of scares me now that you hit the high note. Now you need to continue and just kind of keep the pedal to the metal and keep that mentality going in through the rest of the week. And it could set you up for a really cool weekend against another team that may just be kind of sitting some guys getting ready for the postseason themselves.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like that series just had a complete playoff vibe to it. You loved every single pitch of it. And the best part too was just seeing our pitching come together at the same time as our hitting. Hitting's been the most consistent thing this year. We've been waiting on the pitching and it's starting to come alive. Hopefully Woo's very healthy and he can come through when playoffs start. But yeah, it was just nice seeing. I think our starters over that series only gave up what 3 runs. So I mean it's what you expect from the caliber rotation we have, and then really just to add in the just nice little nuggets from like JP with the grand slam. You got guys like Canzone contributing. Everybody across the board in up and down that lineup was contributing, and I think he's just seen for the first time really the best Mariners team I could remember. Just from up and down the lineup, there's no real holes. Our bench is strong. I mean, you got Cole Young just and Harry Ford just sitting there, right? So it's just really nice thing to see, and you want to continue to, as Mariners fans, temper the expectations in some ways. But I'd say nay to that. I mean, just what we've been doing. I mean, my expectation is you're going to a World Series. This team, and you look at where we are in in that tournament, in that bracket, in the number 2 seed, and those teams that we'd be potentially facing. I mean, that's my expectation going forward.
Absolutely. And talking about the starting pitching in that series against the Astros, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, 17 innings pitched between those three, only 1 earned run allowed. And then speaking of that JP Crawford grand slam, that was an at bat to where, they pull up his stats. He's got 11 home runs on the season, but it's just, you just feel it. It's like, he's going to hit a grand slam right here. He's got that clutch factor, and, seeing this form of JP to where he could bat at the bottom of the order. He doesn't need that pressure leading off. It's just a different lineup. I mean, top to bottom with all these guys, and they're all coming together at the same spot. One interesting stat also is that the Mariners are top 4 in both home runs and stolen bases, which is the only team in baseball this year in top 4 in both of those categories, both home runs and stolen bases. This is the best power speed combo of a team in baseball, which is obviously deadly.
It helps when your 58 bomb catcher is also stealing bags too.
Yeah. Well, you gotta love that, like the combination of small ball, small time baseball. I mean, really money ball, and a combination of that, and like chicks dig the long ball. It's just like the perfect combination. I really have enjoyed it. I mean, obviously you've had the highs and lows, but like currently, like I can't stop talking about it enough. It's just like where we're hitting this at this time, this rhythm with the lineup, this rhythm with the starting rotation. Now, I'm still a little nervous about that bullpen, but I still feel really good when you can kind of think about what we can do with that rotation, inserting them into the bullpen later on.
Cal Raleigh is sitting at 58 home runs, 14 stolen bases. There's 6 games left. If he could swipe 1 bag a game, he's going to hit 2 home runs, that's for sure. 60-20 catcher. I mean, that's not likely. Let's hope for 60-15 or something. But I mean, what he's doing is absolutely ridiculous.
I did look it up just on Cal Raleigh really quick. I did look it up when he got to that 40-10 mark. He was also the first catcher to ever hit 40-10, which is insane on its own. And now we're talking about a potential 60-20 season. Ronald Acuna, look out.
Yeah, Ronald Acuna, who?
And it's just so interesting. I mean, like even like this MVP talk, it's like they keep giving him a new number you need to hit. I mean, he doesn't have to do a single thing this year to get MVP. And it's not even looking at the actual numbers, it's looking at the position and what he's doing historically. It's like no catcher's ever done this. No switch hitters ever done this. So what more does he need to accomplish to be given the MVP award? It's a no doubt in my opinion. I think it's an East Coast bias why Judge is still in the conversation. Sure to be handed to him. But maybe that's just because I'm wearing a Mariners. We're all wearing Mariners stuff. But
to at least have Judge in the conversation, I'm on board with that. But to just kind of disrespect Cal Raleigh with what they've been saying is that Cal Raleigh should not be the MVP. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, come on, man. Like nobody else is doing this. Nobody else has ever done this. Come on. Also his defensive stats.
So Aaron Judge right now has a 199 weighted runs created plus. His bat is basically double the league average. Cal Raleigh is currently at a 161, but again, it's not just the bat, it's like the player as a whole. I mean, looking at the wins above replacement for Fangraphs, Judge is at 9.2, Cal is at 8.8. So depending on, I mean, wins above replacement also is a relatively flawed stat. It's not telling all of the picture and what a player means to the team as a whole. Cal Raleigh, a catcher, is managing the pitching staff from top to bottom, the starting rotation, the bullpen, on top of doing what he's doing at the plate. It's just a different factor. And do you guys know if Aaron Judge is still only DH right now?
I could do a little quick research here.
I think
because
he
that's
had. I
another
think he
piece of
has
it.
been playing mostly DH. I haven't looked recently on that. I mean, it's like you even think about like the physical tolls that the catcher position does to your
He
body
played-
during 140 games. Generally, you're playing as a catcher,
That's
and then
brutal.
he's DHing. I mean, he's only had a handful of really true off nights. He's still DHing too. So it's just one of those things too. It's like it's the numbers. I guess it's like the story within the numbers. You have to actually look at that a little bit too. And like MVP is not based solely off your numbers. It's the impact you make to your team and did your team win.
Exactly.
He did play
And-
right field in the Orioles series. Sorry, just wanted to throw that there.
Okay.
There you
Did he throw the ball into the infield with his left hand?
Maybe.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Now talking through where the Mariners head from here. So a quick stat. This is from Daniel Kramer. Off day watch. The Mariners can clinch a postseason berth as soon as tomorrow with a win over the Rockies and a Yankees win over the White Sox. We're talking the Mariners beating the Rockies, one of the worst teams of baseball. The Yankees, one of the best teams of baseball, beating another worst team in baseball, the White Sox. It's pretty likely that the Mariners clinch a playoff spot as soon as tomorrow. And then you have the remainder of the 5 games to get healthy for that first series. And just kind of pulling this up here, this is what the postseason picture looks like as of today. If the playoffs were to start today, right now the Blue Jays are in the 1 seed in the AL. The Mariners hold the 2 seed in the AL. The Tigers are right behind them in the 3 seed. The Yankees are 4, Red Sox are 5, and then the Guardians are currently 6. So Houston's not even in the playoffs. If the playoffs were to start today, let's hope that things, pan out and this stays the same. But having a first round bye for the Mariners is huge. If Brian Wu does need a little extra time, if some of these guys just need to get their legs under them, you have a 3-game wild card series that you could sit through, and then you're going to be facing either the Tigers or the Guardians in Seattle.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
everything you said there is spot on, and like I feel really good about how we line up with those teams. Now, Guardians might have a little bit of something on us. I believe we lost a series to them last month, right? But overall, I feel like our lineup is far superior than both those teams, especially the way we've been hitting recently. I don't think I've mentioned it yet. Like what Canzone's done for our lineup too. Be able to like how he supported us in the outfield when we didn't have Victor Robles. Now Victor's back and he can actually play some DH for us, and it's a complete team. So yeah, I'm super pumped with how we line up.
Yeah, I like just with where they're at currently. There's just a large chip on their shoulder that is a positive thing that they're using. That Carl Ravitch interview with Cal Raleigh, and then talking about, hey, how cool is it that you're hitting, you're breaking all these records. He's like, I want to win. I care more about winning, and having him say stuff like that just shows this team has a chip on the shoulder. If that's what your captain's saying, then I think that they're determined no matter if the Dodgers were in their way right now. I think that they would give the Dodgers a really good series, and you could potentially see them going all the way through them. And I don't think there's anybody that stands in their way that they can't give a good series to and potentially end up on the good side of.
With the run production that the Mariners have right now, it's at a level to where if you're putting up 7 runs per game, I think the stat before yesterday's game was 6.5 runs per game over this stretch. Over their past 15 games, they're 14-1. They're 28-16 over their last 44. They're 39-24 over the last 63. 42-27 over the past 69 games. Like basically the past entire half of the season, they've had an outstanding record and just have kept building and building. And now they're on pace. They're 14-1 over the last 15. That's the momentum you want heading into the playoffs.
Did it right when just like we talked about in September. You really want this to really hit the ground running in September, and it's all coming to fruition right now.
Yeah, hitting that long streak here at the end has been super impactful for us. A little bit less stress as we were anticipating potentially, and also too is like kudos to the Mariners to avoid the long losing streaks. Right? I mean, I think they only had 2 4-game losing streaks during the year. Maybe they had one that got into 5, but they didn't have multiple during the year. They continued to win series. Yes, boring baseball in a way where you're not seeing a huge impact, but over time it amounts up to a ton. And it's really just starting to hit it at the right time, which is really what we've been talking about, like you said, Gav.
Another stat is that the Mariners have clinched a season series victory over each of their divisional opponents this season. They're 10-3 against the Rangers, 9-4 against the Angels, 7-6 against the Athletics, and then now they're 8-5 against the Astros. This is the 4th time the Mariners have won the season series against each member of their division in the same season. 2025, 2018, 2002, and 2001 were the other times. The AL West expanded to 5 teams prior to the 2013 season. So, I mean, they've been stacking it up, and they've won against every divisional opponent. The division is theirs. They just got to close it out.
Yeah, close it out. 6 games to lock it in. And honestly, you play it right, less than 6 games.
Yeah, Connor, you just gave me chills when you're going through that. Hang the damn banner. Hang the banner. I cannot wait.
Love it.
And mostly just, I just can't stand the Astros too. Just everything they've been, just really who they are. Cheaters from the beginning. Those really the last couple of years, and seeing us the last 3 years really take it to them too has been really nice. And so having us actually take the division this time, and I don't want to see them take it back from us ever again.
And I see that Yordan Alvarez is injured again, and I saw. I don't want to say it was for the entire playoffs. It might have just been for the initial playoff games, but it sounds like he's going to be out for an extended period of time. So you're catching the Astros in a spot to where they're vulnerable. Obviously, we took advantage. Right now, they're not even in a playoff picture. I'm going to look up their remaining games here in a second.
Yeah, one thing I also wanted to kind of just touch on for these last couple or this last week, I would like to see Harry Ford get a start or two, just to see like give him that environment, especially like you're going to be back home against with a crowd that's electric. Obviously, the crowd's electric. Give him just like 1 or 2 starts and just let him feel that and just be a part of it. I don't think it's going to take, it's not, in my opinion, it's not going to take away from what we're trying to get at with him, especially if you want him to be more full bore next year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'd say at the same time too, it's just like, hey, you want to practice how you're going to play, and like we're going to the playoffs. Like if you're not going to put him on that roster going to the playoffs, then why play him at the end of the year, especially if you have a first round bye? I think that that's actually that time has passed, and I think the learning you're going to see from Harry this year is just him watching, which is fine. He'll be our backup catcher next year.
Yeah, the more MLB, especially from a hitting standpoint, the more MLB experience you can get, I think it's going to help him out in the long run. However, I don't disagree with that.
I think my answer was more of how the Mariners front office and staff feels.
You definitely attacked it from a Jerry Dipoto perspective. Absolutely.
If he could just watch the catcher in front of him, hey, just replicate what he's doing, have some of that rub off on him. Maybe Harry just hit 30 home runs. We're not asking you to hit 60, steal 10 bags instead of 15.
Got to remind him, no Harry, not Mitch.
That reminds me of Mitch Garver. One of the last big home runs that he hit. He was interviewed after the game, and he won the World Series obviously the other year with the Rangers. And he was asked about this clubhouse and this team, and he said that he knows what it takes and what it feels like, and this is the squad. This is the clubhouse that is going to do something special. So I mean, we're just pounding it down, but it's like this is the team. This is the year to really make the push. Looking at the Astros remaining schedule, they have 3 games against the Athletics and then 3 games against the Angels. So it's a relatively easy schedule for them. Also, the Athletics are a pain, but the Angels are not. So we'll see if the Athletics can and that's in Sacramento. So hopefully the Athletics can take 2 from the Astros.
Do they have the pitching matchups posted yet for that?
Let's see there. I don't have that
Yeah,
there.
not a
I'll
big,
see if I
not
can.
a big deal. But yeah, I think you're right though. The A's could be really sneaky next year. That rotation's getting better in the second half, and nobody knows
A's are gonna
it.
be good.
Jin, he's great, and Luis Morales, somebody that nobody's talking about. I think he's a fantastic starting pitcher. Guy they plucked out of Cuba, I think about 2 years ago, and he's dominating.
So Jeffrey Springs for tomorrow, and then the rest is TBD.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Javier versus Springs.
Oh yeah.
And then,
Christian
yeah,
Javier
TBD.
taking on Jeffrey Springs.
So I guess this leads to the next question. Let's say the Mariners were to clinch a first round bye. You're heading into that ALDS series. How do you build out the rotation?
Is Wu healthy? Then he's obviously he's
I'd say
earned that
yes.
first.
hinges
that
all
first
on
start.
Wu. All hinges off of Wu's health and whether he's fully a go, in my opinion, because I think he's earned the rock on game 1.
Absolutely. Who's 2?
Probably Logan Gilbert. I say
Is
Logan.
Is Castillo
Yeah.
not in a starting role in the playoffs?
It's tough because
Do you move Kirby to the bullpen?
he's earned it, but now you're fighting. If you go with 3, then he might be on the way out because George Kirby has also been very good. But I mean, Luis Castillo has been La Piedra for the past month or so, minus I think one outing. So a good problem to have. But last time we saw these guys in the postseason, all of them were lights out. So I can't even go back in history and say, oh, well, we saw this guy in the postseason. He was better than this guy. And there's a lot of good, hard questions to ask. And yeah, Chad, I'll lean on you. Who would you go with if we had to go with 3 or 4?
I mean, I agree with everything we've said, and I think it's more like I'm looking at the backside of this and like how it affects our bullpen. Like, because I think it doesn't matter who you're going to go 1, 2, 3. I think the fact that Wu has maybe a potential injury problem where we have the depth it takes for us to be okay. I'm not really worried about the rotation, what 1, 2, 3 looks like, because I mean we could even look at our 3, 4, 5 starting pitcher and they match up really well with somebody's 1, 2, 3. So I look at more like who's going to fit well in the bullpen, who's going to be somebody that upgrades our 5th, 6th, 7th inning guy that we can bring in and that can be reliable. Who that might be. I think Bryce Miller is a great fit for a bullpen, especially with the arm injuries that he had earlier this year. Might be really great timing for him to be a bullpen. Let him unleash. Let that miles per hour, the velo tick up a bit more. And then I think George Kirby. I think he's that other guy that goes into the bullpen. I'm going to go veteran on this. I mean, George has finally seemed to figure it out, but I think La Piedra has earned a little playoff appearance.
I do think it makes sense to have 4 guys remain in the rotation because you've already moved Emerson Hancock to the bullpen. You've got Logan Evans, who's coming back from an injury, who could be moved to the bullpen. Bryce Miller would be a great option out of the bullpen. But then even if you do end up only starting 3 guys, like you mentioned, the injury concern, you could have that 4th guy throwing like basically a live session to where it's game simulated and the amount of pitches keep him extended. If you do end up having to throw him, the reason why a team would only have like 3 guys is because their 4th is a big drop off. There isn't that drop off with the Mariners rotation. So where a standard team in the playoffs might have to try to roll out the 1 again on a short rest for that game 4, you're totally comfortable with that 4 guy going out there for that game. And then you have the off days to make up and back to the top.
Yeah. And also one last thing on George Kirby. He did come out of the pen against the Blue Jays. So it was nice to see that. There's a little bit of a back pocket experience there.
And just for the record, Brian Wu, 2nd in all of baseball in WHIP with a 0.93 WHIP. 2nd in all of baseball in pitches per inning pitched, 14.54 pitches per inning pitch. He's been the 2nd most efficient pitcher in all of baseball, and also one of the best pitchers in baseball in allowing guys on base via the walk or the hit.
He's so good.
And you gotta love, gosh, I just love everything about him. Just how he throws too. It's just an
It's
effortless
effortless.
delivery
Effortless.
and super
How about
repeatable. It's like
Yeah,
if you're a
his
coach and you want to try to teach pitching, look at Brian Wu. Like that
it's
is the easiest thing I feel like.
just do what he's doing?
from a perspective of like, me being in player development once upon a time, his hip to shoulder separation is one of the craziest things I see. And for people out there who don't know hip to shoulder separation, it's basically like when you swing a bat and your hips go first and your shoulder stays back. His separation is absolutely asinine. I don't know how he does it, but it ends up looking so effortless, and it's just a whip. Just bam, he gets down the mound, and just everything's so fluid.
That's where for the average person, hip to shoulder separation means a different thing. We try to throw like him, and our hip and our shoulder are both separated from our body.
It's like in your golf swing and you swing the hips first and your shoulders are back behind, the ball goes right. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So separated.
Now, I mean, kind of looking forward, not talking playoffs, but Colt Emerson is up in AAA and he's doing what top prospects do. He's already hit a go-ahead home run. He hit a home run in his first AAA appearance. Looking to next year, we kind of talked about this on a prior episode. Do you trade JP Crawford in the offseason? Do you start Colt Emerson at shortstop?
Yeah.
I know it's a little early to get into this talk.
It's a good question though, right? Like we got to talk about something like this that revolves around Colt Emerson. Chad, take it away.
I have to fall on this sword because I said it a few episodes ago, and it just blatantly said that I think JP is not going to be on the roster next year, and that's because Colt Emerson. And so I'm going to have to continue to say that because I said it initially. We'll see what this playoff looks like. If we go out and win a World Series, are you going to want to change that roster? You're going to want to change a guy that means a lot to that locker room, that clubhouse? Probably not. I don't think you're going to be making that kind of change. I think you're going to be looking more improving the floor than adding a rookie to the roster. So maybe.
One addition to that thought too is changing a premier position and expecting a rookie who will be 21 next year, expecting him to take the reins and expecting 150 plus games. Yeah, that's just a tough ask. I'm not saying he can't do it because we've seen this kid just absolutely rip it up, and I'm very excited to see what this kid can do at the next level. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does JP have another year of? I think
he has 1 more year in a contract.
1 more year. So what an opportune moment for that to be the crossover year for Colt Emerson to be able to take the reins in 2027. However, you're now plugged with another question and a good question and a good problem, which is you're stacked in the infield with Cole Young, Colt Emerson. Do you bring Leo Rivas back, who's been awesome as a glue guy? You have a lot of questions.
Yeah, Ben Williamson. Don't forget about him.
And you got Ben Williamson, who is a handful of people's favorite player, and then a handful of people don't think he'll ever hit at the MLB level. I think he's a perfect glue guy. He's gonna if that guy ever learns how to play the outfield, he'll be able to do what Dylan Moore can do, maybe a little bit elevated. I don't know.
It's hilarious because we traded for Gino. Ben Williamson goes down to AAA, and then Ben Williamson is the Gino Suarez of AAA Tacoma, while Gino isn't really doing anything in Seattle. So yeah, I mean, Ben Williamson, third base, Colt Emerson, shortstop, Cole Young, second base. You free up all of that payroll to extend a guy like a Josh Naylor and some of these other pieces. Just to have this conversation, that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time the Mariners have been in this, I guess, realm where they're actually staring down a postseason with one of the best, up and coming classes, and just having a really good top prospect list. And then also, I mean, we got a left-handed pitcher that we drafted 3rd overall that we haven't even mentioned this year, because Michael Arroyo and Laz Montez and all these other guys have just taken huge strides in their career. And Harry Ford and Cole Young, all these guys have just taken huge strides in their career. As a Mariners fan, there's no better time like the present right now. And I'd say that knocking on wood, and I say that from an unbiased perspective.
Yeah, and I think, I know Depoto's gotten a tough rap over the last few years, but one thing you got to appreciate is how consistent he is. And when he says something, and what follows always seems to be very consistent. It's always right on point. So he talked about, I want to continue to have winning baseball in Seattle. I want to have waves of players come to where we're not having to scramble in free agency and signing people to outrageous contracts. So you can see that his plan is working and his plan is repeatable for long-term health for this organization, which you got to love.
I think back to, heading into the 2021 season, the Mariners had made some trades, built up their farm system. I believe at the time they were the top farm system in all of baseball. They started to make those moves to start to build out the roster. Eventually they signed Robbie Ray. They obviously traded for Luis Castillo in 2022. Julio Rodriguez debuts in 22. Some of those top prospects, that wave starts to come up. Now the feeling is that the major league roster is currently stacked. You have a stacked farm system that at the top of it, a lot of it is in the low to mid tiers currently, but it's really building up. And it was the arms at first. Now it's the bats coming through. Like you mentioned, you got, a lefty starting pitcher, 3 overall, that's at the top there, ready to go in case you need to get flexible with starting pitching. This is a roster and a team that is dangerous now. It's not just, they have a good farm system. They're currently one of the most dangerous teams in baseball, and they're going to have sustained success with everything and all the guys coming through. So
very excited coming off the tongue. One of the most dangerous teams in baseball. That's just, man, as a Mariners fan, they're just, I'm going to say it again. There's no time like the present. This is friggin' awesome what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And you look across the division. I mean, like as far as like teams with good minor league systems, the A's are pretty decent, mostly because they traded away all their major league depth. And then you got the Texas Rangers who are pretty good too. But outside of that, like Angels, they're laughing stock of prospect development. And I don't think the Astros have that highly of a touted system, but they always seem to produce just random guys.
I gotta ask, what development?
Yeah.
Hey,
I feel bad. If you're an Angels fan listening, I think you're listening because one, you probably live in Seattle and you're trying to find a better team. Shout out to a few buddies that I know.
Oh man. A couple comments here. Ty to fly with the JP talk. JP is having the second best OPS plus season, still a decent option through 2027. Hopefully, completely disagree. Not completely disagree. Completely agree. It's just obviously he's got the on base potential. He has the clutch ability, but it's, do you get flexible and move that guy? He's obviously a clubhouse guy.
Yeah, I don't think the move is because we want to get better. I think it's more of a front office thinking of where do we move the money to? It's like when we traded Robbie Ray, they said we had too much money invested in our rotation with a lot of guys coming up. So they could be looking at other ways of doing that, moving around. I'm not sure exactly how they'll do it. I don't necessarily see that right now, but it's definitely in play.
This is another piece to it. Like obviously the bat is there for JP. And from the eye test, like it seems like JP's defense is solid. He makes a lot of the routine plays, and some of the underlying stats that people point out, maybe he isn't as good defensively as he might look. Jason says that JP's defense has been suspect this year. That's another factor to it, is that we know that Colt Emerson coming up, you watch his highlight reel that he's making on a daily basis down there in the minor leagues coming up. Colt Emerson is the bat, and he's the ability at 21. Age is only a number, but this guy is a true baller. So
I think it's nice.
Errors. I was just gonna say his errors. He's got 13 errors on the year, which I guess has been pretty consistent with his years prior to. In 2023, he had 14. 2022, he had 14. 21, 12, and then 2019. I'll skip 2020 just because we all know what happened that year. And then 2019, he had 12. So it's pretty consistent with his year-to-year production. So I wouldn't say it's any worse, but 977 fielding percentage. It is worse than 2024 when he had a 991.
Yeah, I think it's more of just the range because JP's got good hands. I feel like, especially when he's crashing in on the ball, he does some pretty wild things. I feel like just picking it, but it's to his right. And if especially with Gino there's some times where you see it where there could be some plays that he could make, but overall, great player. Love to keep him around though next year.
Yeah, had some good highlights too, right? Like the Josh Naylor gave him a huge shout out when he tossed it over to Leo Rivas and he made the rest of that play.
So sick.
He's been savvy defensively, but maybe his defensive skill itself has been declining. But he's been savvy. He's been veteran. He's been a good veteran in that sense.
One guy we haven't talked about yet is Jorge Polanco, and he also has it's a mutual option. I'm looking it up right now.
It is
But
vested
basically,
now.
Has it vested?
It's vested on the player side, I believe. He is full go for what, $7.5 million, I believe, $6.5 million.
Looks like
somewhere.
6 million player option with 450 plate appearances. He's now at 460 plate appearances this year. So that's another guy that you have to factor in for next year. You would assume that he's gonna pick up that option. Do you think that Jorge Polanco might get more than $6 million on the open market? There's the potential, but there's the injury risk.
Yeah, my understanding, because that option vested, that it's only the Mariners that could decline that. Is that correct, Gav?
Oh, it's a mutual option, yeah. 2026 mutual options convert to a $6 million player option with 450 plate appearances, $8 million with 550, which he won't reach.
Yeah. I mean, first off, like, shout out to Polanco.
Yeah, shout out Polanco.
Huge anchor for our team. If it wasn't for Jacob deGrom, he'd be the AL comeback player of the year. No doubt in my mind. So, and you got to really love that. And so I think having him next year on this team, like, what does his position look like? I think you might be seeing some breadcrumbs. I know, like, a few weeks ago, they had talked about seeing Polanco taking infield ground balls at first base. So what does that mean? Maybe not for this year, but if Naylor's not going to be a part of the equation next year, you could be seeing a lot of Polanco at first base.
And it also kind of depends on what your DH situation is next year too. Is Cal Raleigh playing most of the games back at catcher, or is next year, if Harry Ford takes off, are they trying to split DH catcher with Harry Ford, depending on obviously how well he does, because if the DH is open, or at least somewhat open, Polanco could slide into there, help spell Naylor. Hopefully, I'm going to speak it into existence. Hopefully spell Naylor at first base from time to time, but still a little worried because I think he's 5'9", 5'9" first baseman. It's just one of those things where you're just like, it doesn't add up.
Let's hope he can get that shoulder separation that we were talking about to catch some of those balls at first base.
100%.
Now I want to get into, looking again at this playoff picture. Let's look at the NL side. So currently the 1 seed is the Brewers, the 2 seed is the Phillies, the 3 seed is the Dodgers, 4 is the Cubs, 5 is the Padres, 6 is the Reds currently. Which of these teams are you least looking forward to facing? Obviously the Dodgers are a powerhouse, but outside of the Dodgers, which of these teams?
Phillies. I'm going Phillies for me. It's just like that series that you saw where we got manhandled. It wasn't even close in any of the matchups. So that was the most discouraging part too. And I mean, Phillies, before the season started, they were my World Series champion pick. Put some plums on it, a couple cash, a little bit of cash on it. So definitely still sticking with that. I feel like that they have a pretty strong team. I don't believe they have Zach Wheeler though, right? So
yeah, he's out for the year.
Yeah,
he's out for the year. So that rotation, what does that look like?
Nola, Luzardo, Ranger Suarez has been crazy. Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah, but they can put up a lot of runs in a hurry too. So that's
Kyle
the one
Schwarber's going to hit 4 home runs a game.
Yeah,
and then some. But how bad the Mets have been through this last, since the trade deadline is how good the Phillies have kind of been in that span too. And then you got to be in the brunt of it and play them while they were going through that hot fire streak. I was worried about them going into that series, and sure, it was reaffirmed as soon as we went through that series. They're definitely one. Brewers are sneaky good. I know that it's the easy answer because they're the number 1 seed. Brewers are sneaky good, and if Mizorowski gets moved to the pen, that pen is absolutely detrimental because that's what I believe I saw it on MLB Trade Rumors that they were looking at moving him to the bullpen.
Does his 102 go up to 105 out of the bullpen?
Yeah, because he's been up there. I mean, I can't say he's been up to 105, but I want to say he's been up to 103, 104. When he was in the minor leagues, and it was just in spurts, but it wasn't out of the pen. So still, that guy is scary good. That team could be scary good. And then the Dodgers. The Dodgers.
And if you want an argument for not spending all the money in the world, That's the Mets. That's the good reason. They're the number 2 payroll in all of baseball, $340 million, and currently they're not in a playoff spot. They've got Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, all these guys not currently in a playoff spot.
And they've called up Jonah Tong. They called up Brandon Sprout.
Nasty.
Jonah Tong's nasty, and he had a bad game. He actually lost. He lost me a fantasy game last week or 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah.
But Noah McLean's been awesome for him.
Yep.
And then they also have Brandon Sprout, who they called up, and they're relying heavy on some of these young guys that they're calling up.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love seeing Cincinnati in there too, especially with where their organization's been over the last few years. I mean, it's basically Seattle Mariners 2.0 with the amount of guys that we've traded to them.
Noelvi Marte's producing there.
Yeah,
doing well.
Absolutely. And
Hats off to him.
you gotta love seeing Terry. Terry Francona's right, the manager there.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love him coming out of retirement, and he said, "I didn't do this just to take another job. I did this because I believe this team has what it takes to win a World Series." So you look at like the shell of that team, what it was to what it is, like from the beginning of the year to what it is today. It's like that rotation's pretty dominant now, and the lineup was always pretty decent, but you're seeing guys get healthy. And yeah, I mean, I don't say I look at that Reds team and like maybe not this year, but I see them winning a World Series eventually.
He's like, they have Ellie De La Cruz on their team. They've got Hunter Green, who just threw a complete game shutout. It's like, yeah, I'll go coach for a couple more years.
Yeah, not to mention they got all these guys that are chomping at the bit in AA, AAA that they're going to be on their team. Like Sal Stewart just got a call up. Rhett Lauder has been injured for most of the year, or at least I believe half of the year. They got some dudes that are coming up, and I love rooting for the underdog, and they've been one of those underdogs. Just easy team to root for on that side.
If you're watching this, if you're listening, let us know your thoughts in the comments below on the Seattle Mariners, on the playoff picture as a whole. This is going to be a very fun October for baseball fans. Any closing thoughts or topics that you guys have on your mind?
Enjoy the ride. Seize the moment has been the hashtag of this whole adventure. So I'd like to take this time to say, let's seize the moment.
Yeah, I think for me too is just like these next 6 games. Biggest thing is just stay healthy, stay consistent with what you're doing. Guys, don't get too high, get too low. I think, as we go into these final games too, it's just seeing like what else, can this team continue to improve on? How does that bullpen react? Maybe if they start pulling some starting pitchers and they start relying a little bit more on the bullpen, who are some guys that step up late in the year, and how are they going to help us going into the playoffs? But yeah, overall, super excited. I mean, I can't say it enough, like how pumped I am. I know at the Keba house, my wife's getting tired of me talking about the Mariners going to the playoffs now. So, I mean, like the last 2 weeks has been incredible. So super excited for it and can't wait to see it unfold.
Mariners have 3 games at home against the Rockies, 3 games at home this coming weekend against the Dodgers. If you're around the Seattle area, go to as many Mariners games this week as you can. Fill that place, make it seem like a playoff environment, help the team push over the edge to hang that banner. There are currently value games during the 3-game series against the Rockies, which starts on Tuesday, goes through Thursday. Tickets starting at $11. There's going to be a Randyland themed ticket special on September 24th with a Randy Rosarena t-shirt. And then there's going to be Bark at the Park on Thursday, Thursday. And then obviously a massive series against the Dodgers, really a good measuring stick to see where they're really at compared to some of these teams. I've been looking forward to facing a team like the Dodgers for a while. Obviously the Phillies were tough, but it'll be a great end to the season.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Couch GM for more content like this. Make sure to go subscribe to Up West Sports, follow their work and what they do. Otherwise, enjoy the ride this week, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
Let's go, Ems.
Out to center. This is Clinched. It's way back. It is